Alright, so this is 6768. I'm not going to put anything in the guided notes. I'm just going to show you the examples on the worksheet. Basically, the worksheet just looks a lot better than my guided notes that I printed out before. So basically, the 6768, our learning target, instead of just finding all the zeros, we're going to have I can find all the zeros for the following functions. There's steps here, so there's steps 1 through 5. First step, put equation into the y equals in the calculator. There's that button there in the top left corner. Step 2, look at the graph / the table to find at least one root. Step 3, then we're going to use what we did yesterday, synthetic substitution with the root to create a depressed polynomial and use that depressed polynomial to find the other two zeros, exactly what we did yesterday. If after you have the depressed polynomial, if the degree is still above 2, we want to find the other root and then use that other root as well. Alright, let's begin. So we're going to do this first example here. The steps on top. Let it focus in for a second. Alright, so the first example, I have my calculator right here. I'm going to click on. I'm just going to reset it right now. Alright, so I hit y equals, top left corner is y equals. I'm going to type this in, so I have x to the third. Make sure you tab over and make sure it goes back down. Plus 3x squared. Some of your calculators you won't have to tab over. Minus 25x plus 21. And you hit graph. Now you could use your window, you could adjust this so you could see it a little bit better. In our case, we can just hit second table. And we're just looking for where there's zeros in the y column. Right there is 1, 1, comma 0. You just need one of them, so right off the bat, that's what we're going to use. So we know that one of the solutions then is x equals 1. From here, it's exactly what we did yesterday. I have the 1 there. I have 1, 3, negative 25, and 21. This is a part of our problem. Drop down the 1. So I have 1 here. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 25 plus 4 is negative 21. Times 1 is negative 21. Again, we knew that this was a 0, so this should work out to be a 0. And you now have the depressed polynomial of 1x squared plus 4x minus 21. We don't have to do a step 5 because our largest degree, our degree of this depressed polynomial is just 2. It's not above 2. And we are looking for the two numbers that multiply to negative 21 and add to 4. I'm going to do that calculation in my head. I have x plus 7 and x minus 3. So my solutions are x plus 7 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So x equals negative 7 and x equals 3. I then have my 3 solutions again, and you are done. Basically the same thing as yesterday, it's just a matter that they're not giving us a solution and we have to use our calculator to find one. Let's look at number 2 now. So memorize those steps. We'll go to number 2. Number 2, same thing. First off, we use our calculator, we plug it in. So we have 10 x to the third, make sure you tab over, minus 17 x squared minus 7x plus 2. There you are. And then we hit second graph. And again, we're looking for zeros. Right here is 2, 0. Perfect. So we have that x equals 2. And we start the same process as we had in number 1. So we have 2 right here. We have 10, negative 17, negative 7, 2. Make sure that you're checking to make sure that it goes from 3, 2, 1, and then nothing, or else you might have to import zeros. Anyways, so you drop the 10, you have 2 times 10 is 20. Yeah, those you have 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. We have a 0 there. That should work out. And then like we had before, we have 10 x squared plus 4x minus 21. Oh, sorry about that. We have 10x squared plus 3x minus 1. That is the depressed polynomial. And then we have a couple options here. Notice that we have a 10 here, not a 1, so we can't just do the quick way. We either have to use the quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Or the other option, we'll call it the x factor. I'm going to show you the x factor in this one. The next one I'll show you the quadratic formula. So the x factor, I take 10 and I multiply it with negative 1 to get negative 10, and I have to add to a positive 3. What two numbers multiply to negative 10 and add to 3? 5 and negative 2. I'm then replacing some things, so I have 10x squared plus 5x minus 2x minus 1. So we're right here basically. Now I'm just going to group these. Use the black pen to group them. So right here I put the parentheses around the 10 and around the x, and then the other parentheses is around that negative. The negative sticks with the 2, like that. This first group I can take out a 5x, and I'm left with an x up with 2x plus 1. And here I'm going to take out a negative 1 to get a 2x plus 1. Again, I want the middles to match. So I have 5x minus 1 equals 0, and I have 2x plus 1 equals 0. So we're going to find the last two zeros here. So when I add 1 over to both sides, and minus 1 over here, so I have 2x equals negative 1, 5x equals 1. I will get, in the end, x equals 1/5, and here x equals 1/2. Negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 and a 5th. So I have my three answers: 1, 2, 3. Three and 4, you will have a sheet like this tomorrow. 3 and 4, you'll do as homework. 5 is the same way, 6 is the same way, 7 is the same way, 8 is the same way. 9 and 10, notice it starts with x to the 4th. So let's talk about how we would do something like that. First part for 9, same first step. We have 4x to the 4th, tab over, plus 12x to the 3rd, tab over, minus 5x squared, minus 21x plus 10. Should graph. And then hit second table. And we have a 1, 0, so that's the one I'm going to use. So we have x equals 1 is what we're going to use. Same steps as always. We have the 1 there. And then we have 4, 12, negative 5, negative 21, and 10. Again, it got a little crowded right here. Same steps now. Drop the 4 down. 4 times 1 is 4. 16. 16 times 1 is 16. 11 times 1 is 11. We have negative 10 now. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. And I'm left with 0. Again, that should work out. No worries there. So my depressed polynomial then is 4x to the 3rd plus 16x squared plus 11x minus 10. This is what that 5th step was talking about, is when you have the depressed polynomial and it's not a squared, it's the largest one. The degree here is 3. So what you have to do then is you have to go back to your graph. You found this one already, you found the 1, 0, 1. Go check for other ones, and I think I passed it. Right. Oh, there it is. Negative 2, 0. So I know that x equals negative 2. So I have that. I have one solution. I have another solution now. So I just do the same process now. Negative 2 is there. I have 4, 16, 11, and negative 10. drop the 4 down, and 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 16 plus negative 8 is 8. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. 11 plus negative 16 is negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10. I have 0 again. This time with the depressed polynomial, I have 4x squared plus 8x minus 5. You could use the x factor way. This time I'm going to show you the quadratic formula way. I'm not going to rewrite it, but you'll get x equals negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 4 times negative 5. All over 2 times 4. We're going to go into this problem, but that's life. So you have x equals negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 plus 80, just 80, all over 8. And then x equals negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 144. I scratched my leg. Over 8. This turns into x equals negative 8 plus or minus 12 over 8. Square root of 144 is 12. From here you can break it up into two problems. You have the x equals negative 8 plus 12 over 8, and you have the x equals negative 8 minus 12 over 8. Here, when you do the addition on top, you would get 4 over 8, so x equals a half. And here you have negative 8 minus 12, so you have negative 20 over 8, where x would equal negative 5 halves. So our 4 solutions, I'm just going to put them here, 4 solutions, all real. You could at some point have an imaginary solution. I don't think anything on this worksheet will. So you have 1, x equals 1, x equals negative 2, x equals a half, and where x equals negative 5 halves. These are all solutions. Don't worry about doing number, well actually do number 10. It's the only other x to the 4th. So do number 10, you might just have to put it somewhere else. Other than that, I might not assign all these tomorrow, we'll find out. But just quick other tip of the day. If you ever have baby rabbits, right, you have regular rabbits and then they have babies, be careful because the mama rabbits, once they give birth to the baby rabbits, they're trying to clean the rabbits and they will bite the ears off. So there's just a little tip of the day if you ever are raising rabbits.